Welcome to the social science class, children. And today we are continuing with a same lesson, that is a water resources, which we have learned in a previous session. We have learned so many things about the water resources, about the fresh water which we receive from the what? From the different sources. And we have also studied about the 70% of the water is covered on the earth surface, and only the 1/4 of the land is there which is covered on the earth. So that is the distribution of land and water on the earth surface. So now then we talk about then what did we talk? We have discussed about we have learned about the sources of water. Rain, rivers, and in the rain we have learned about the kind of distribution, like the Monseram river gets the highest rainfall, receives the highest rainfall, whereas as per the Indian climatic conditions we know that India receives the undistributed rainfall throughout the year. Then we talk about the rivers, perennial and the seasonal. Perennial rivers are those rivers which we have studied that the rivers which flows throughout the year is the perennial river, whereas the rivers, seasonal rivers, which they are called the rain-fed rivers, which takes place or they have the water mainly in the rainy seasons. And when we talk about the perennial river, if you remember, we have talked about the three river system, the Indus and its tributaries, the Ganga and its tributaries, and the Brahmaputra and its tributaries. Whereas when we talk about the seasonal rivers, we know that the Brahmaputra, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, they all flow into the Bay of Bengal, whereas the Narmada and the Tapti, they flow towards the west flowing rivers and they make the estuaries. So now in this session, we are going to talk about the irrigation. First of all, what is irrigation? Irrigation is the watering of the land by artificial means. Natural is what? Natural is your rainwater. Yes, that is the natural source of water. Rivers, they are all the naturals. So here when we talk about the irrigation, irrigation is the watering of the land by artificial means. India is an agriculture country and water is required throughout the year, because one or the other crops as per the seasons are grown. The excess of water is stored in the rainy season to be used at times when there is shortage of water for irrigation. There are 4 ways in which the land is watered. Let us know what are the 4 ways. They are canals, wells, tanks, and by multi-purpose projects or dams. So one by one we are going to talk about all these ways which are used for the supplying of water to the crop fields or for the multi-purpose projects. Okay, so we will talk about it. So first we will talk about the irrigation, that is the first way of the irrigation is canals. What are canals? Canals are the channels that are dug on the earth's surface and water is carried out through these to the area where it is required. Fine. So whenever you see the canals, basically in the villages and all, the canals are made. They are dug on the earth surface and then they make a way that the water can be supplied to the area of that crop field through these canals. Then number 2, wells. In wells, the underground water is brought to the surface either by the traditional method. And what is a traditional method? Persian wheel pulled system. Even in the villages these days, we see this traditional method of the Persian wheel pull system, or by a means of a tube inserted in the ground and the water is brought to the surface by means of an electric pump. How? By the means of an electric pump. And this called a tube well. And this process of doing through this is called a tube wells. It is very common, in the villages, in the crop fields are there. The farmers use these tube wells so that they can, what they can do? They can find the ways, or they can easily supply the water to the area where the water is required with the help of the tube wells. Fine. So, number 3 is your tanks. When we talk about the tanks, what are tanks? Tanks are natural hollows on the earth crust in which rainwater gets collected. Yes, it is very common. And where it is common? It is common in South India. And why they collect this water? This water which is collected in that hollow ground is used for various purposes. Tanks are common in South India where the land is rocky and non-porous. Okay. Why it is collected common in South India? Because where the land is rocky and non-porous, here it is the main source of irrigation. That is why it is used here. The tanks are basically used in South India. Then comes your multi-purpose river valley project. That is your number 4. When we talk about the multi-purpose project, in this dams are constructed across a river to provide many benefits to man like flood control, generation of electricity, irrigation to check soil erosions. And like here in Kanpur, when we talk about Kanpur, we have a Ganga barrage. Okay, and number of dams. Why it is there? So that the city can be controlled, the water supply can be there, the electricity can be generated, and even whenever the flood and everything occurs, okay, the sluice gates are open when there is any requirement of water in the area. If you watch that Ganga barrage over in Kanpur, you will find it. So you see the sluice gates are there. We call that as sluice gates, and those gates are used for the providing of water facility to the nearby areas also by this flow of water. And Pandit Nehru told, a first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Nehru ji called these projects the temples of modern India. Why the temples of India? Because through this multi-purpose project, the dams, the electricity can be generated, the flood control can be done, the irrigation, and to check the soil erosion also. Yes, due to soil erosion, lot of soil, damage to the soil is being done. And with the help of this multi-purpose river project, it is being controlled. Now we will talk about the different multi-purpose projects which are there in India. So, our first multi-purpose, let us talk about the multi-purpose river valley projects of India. So, among the list of the multi-purpose river valley projects of India, number 1 is Bhakra Nangal Dam. When we talk about the Bhakra Nangal Dam, it is built on river Satluj and is one of the highest dams that has the height of 226 meter. Fine. And secondly, it benefits the states. Which states are benefited by the Bhakra Nangal Dam? The states which are benefited by the Bhakra Nangal Dam are Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Delhi. So these states are benefited by the Bhakra Nangal Dam. So in the row, the second multi-purpose river valley project of India is the Hirakud Dam. When we talk about the Hirakud Dam, it is built on the river Mahanadi. Where it is built? It is built on river Mahanadi and it is the longest dam. Yes, and is the longest dam of India. It provides water for irrigation and electricity to Odisha. Yes, it provides water for irrigation and the electricity to Odisha state. So now let's talk about our next multi-purpose river valley project, that is the Naga Arjun Sagar Dam. So when we talk about the Naga Arjun Sagar Dam, it is built on the river Krishna. Okay, so it is built on the river Krishna in border between Nalgonda district in Telangana and Guntur district in Andhra Pradesh. So it lies in between, that is between Nalgonda district in Telangana and Guntur district in Andhra Pradesh. So next, number 4 is the Tungabhadra Dam. So when we talk about the Tungabhadra Dam, it is built on the river Tungabhadra. Yes, it is the tributary of Krishna river. Tungabhadra river is the tributary. The dam where it is built is Tungabhadra, and this tributing the Tungabhadra river is the tributary of Krishna river. It benefits the state of Karnataka. Fine. So now we will talk about number 5, that is the Sardar Sarovar Dam. The Sardar Sarovar Dam, it is built on river Narmada. Fine. And Narmada, you know that it falls where? Towards the westward, that is the Arabian Sea. And this dam, which is situated on river or built on river Narmada, it generates electricity for Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Fine. And then, so now let us talk about the conservation of water. So when we talk about the conservation of water, we know that we are careless about our water resources. Nature has given us enough, and now it depends on how we use it. Yes, we should not waste water. We should take care of our water. We should not waste water, pollute our rivers by throwing garbage and industrial waste in it. Already the program of Clean Ganga is already by the Modi government. And then pollute water. What is the effect of the pollute water? Pollute water spread diseases and affects marine life. So that is what we have learned in this chapter about the water resources. Thank you, children.